If you're a woman living in any of these states, you've lost your legal right to an abortion, or you're just about to. That's millions of women and girls across America, and in some states, even if you've been the victim of rape or incest, you can't get a legal abortion, and any doctor that does one could go to prison. It's all because the Supreme Court made a decision that more than half Americans don't actually agree with. Since then, pro-choice campaigners have been trying to work out who can change it. Maybe it's Joe Biden, Congress passing a law, increasing the number of judges on the court, or maybe just having state-by-state battles. But can any of these actually work? To understand that, we need to look at what the Supreme Court did. 5 of these 9 judges overturned a ruling from 1973, Roe v. Wade. Nearly 50 years on, they said, actually, no, the right to an abortion is not protected by the US Constitution. It doesn't mean the court passed a ban of its own. It means it gave that power back to the individual states. There was immediate pushback. Within days, there were court cases in Louisiana and Utah trying to challenge the local bans there, but it'll be up to courts in those states to decide what happens next. There is another option though for state-level campaigners. They could try and bring new laws in to overturn the bans. They'd have to win elections to do it though, and that is tricky. Take Alabama. 58% of people there say that abortion should be illegal in all or most situations. In a lot of states, abortion bans are vote winners, and even if somehow pro-choice politicians did win, any new laws at the state level could be reversed as soon as anti-abortion politicians are voted in next time. So change at the state level is tough, and it's only ever going to be temporary. But what about the guy at the top? I mean, Biden is the most powerful man in the world. Surely he can do something. Biden has issued an executive order to make access to abortion pills easier, but states can block this with their own laws, and activists want him to do more. Some Democrats have asked the president to issue an executive order that would allow abortions to take place on federal land. That would mean that even in states where it's otherwise banned, there would be individual buildings where abortion could happen legally. So you could even have this weird situation where abortion clinics are popping up in post offices. Democrats also want the president to support women traveling to states where abortion is allowed. But even if he makes all those orders, which it doesn't look like he's going to do, the next president could come along and get rid of them all at the stroke of a pen, which is why some members of Congress have been trying to pass a law that overrules state bans on abortion. But remember, they all have constituents to answer to. Take Joe Manchin. He's a Democrat, so you might think that he was going to support an overturning of all state bans on abortion. But in May this year, he voted against exactly that, and the bill died before it could be made law. So, the states, the president, Congress, none of them can provide a long-term solution for pro-choice activists. Which brings us all the way back to where we started, the Supreme Court. The reason this latest ruling happened at all is because conservative anti-abortion judges outnumber pro-choice liberals 6-3. Half of those conservatives were appointed by Donald Trump. That includes Brett Kavanaugh, whose confirmation hearings were dominated by multiple allegations of sexual assault, which he denies. A Supreme Court position is for life, so these conservatives could dominate the court for years. So some Democrats are calling for a more radical solution to their problem, increasing the number of judges on the Supreme Court and then filling those extra spots with liberals. The last time anyone expanded the court was 150 years ago, and when Biden was running for president, he said he wouldn't start expanding the court even if it ruled against abortion rights. But ultimately, it's not actually up to him. Democrats, if they want, could pass a law through Congress expanding the court, and Joe Biden would have to fill the seats. And that expanded court could just rule on the next abortion case and say, yes, actually, abortion is protected under the Constitution. These are just some of the ways pro-choice campaigners could get round or even overturn the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade. But even though most Americans want access to abortion reinstated nationwide, there is still a significant minority who believe that life begins at conception and who want it to be banned outright. And pro-choice activists say they are getting ready for a long fight.